Hey guys, I have no idea why my webcam is being. Oh, I know the lighting is absolutely terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that while I can. But before we do that, Corstian, the draft is here, man. It's in
Yeah,
two
man.
days. This is crazy. Like
Yeah.
it happened way too quick. Like
hmm
I feel like we barely met over the off season. We just covered like free agents. Okay, major
hmm
trade happened, and then all of a sudden, boy, draft is here.
Yeah.
What do you make of it? I feel like this off season's gone by like rapid fast of all seasons.
hmm Yeah. Yeah. It feels quick. I mean, because like we've even had like trades and I guess like some semblance of drama, like an off-season drama. So it's not like it's been dull or anything. So maybe that's what's caused it to feel so fast. Is like a lot of just things have been moving, um, and then like with the trades we saw over the course of the season, obviously that impacts this upcoming draft too, and so like, it's like, oh, like how, like is the Micah Parsons trade worth it? Is the Sauce Gardner trade worth it? Especially now looking at these teams, so it's like all these things kind of culminate all together and kind of have nonstop headlines basically, at least up until now, and then next we get to training camp, and that I think that it'll start to slow down then maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. While you were talking about it, Dexter Lawrence got traded. Bengals
Oh yeah.
surrendered their number 10 overall pick to the Giants. What did you make of that
Mhm. I think that's a solid pick for them. I mean, I think that's a solid use of their draft pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. I know like the joke is that the Bengals suck at drafting. Like you get like, I mean, you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow who are superstars, but it was like I think everybody was anticipating for them to be, the superstar caliber players that they are. But outside of that, um, they have in fact struggled just throughout the draft process to get uh, multiple quality starters plus quality depth players. And so with this, you don't have to really risk, is this guy just going to be a huge project that we can't even play over the next couple seasons, especially when we have a forever win window as long as Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are both on the field. And so you're getting a great defensive lineman who basically just makes everybody in the front seven's job easier. And you're not, again, risking a potential bust.
Yeah, I think it was the best defensive tackle prospect the Bengals could have got after this draft class. Honestly, like I don't think Kaden McDonald or
Mhm.
like those guys are obviously not at 10. But like
Mhm.
I think it definitely takes them out of the we were targeting Jeremiah Love. They're
Mhm.
like, oh no, we lost Trey Hendrickson. How are we gonna get pass rush and how are we gonna get pass rush from the interior?
Mhm.
So I think it's a really good move for them, honestly.
Mhm.
The question is, are they gonna do that and be content with the defense? I don't think they will, but nonetheless it's a good move for
Mhm.
a team that's notoriously struggled on defense in recent years. So
Yeah.
ever since Rumo left, they haven't been the same, and like hopefully this move changes that.
Mhm.
As the Giants, you got 2 picks in the top 10, new
Mhm.
coach, like exciting quarterback. You could potentially come out of this draft with like an edge player and Carnell Tate, or
Mhm.
Tate and Lemon.
Mhm.
You could come out with both and help Jackson Dart or Jeremiah Love.
Mhm.
You have unlimited options here
Mhm.
with the Giants, and the way this panned out for them was I think it's a win-win for
Yeah.
both groups.
Man, you love drafting two wide receivers with your first two round or first your two first round picks, man.
I hey, I mean when Marvin Harrison and Rome were there and neighbors were there, I'm like, I didn't plan for it to be that way, but it's a similar
Yeah.
situation, you know? I mean, I love wide receivers. I cannot lie.
Yeah. I mean, I like them too, but I mean, you try to run it back with Justin Fields, with Adunze and Marvin Harrison.
Which it might have worked
I
with the
mean,
right offensive structure. That's the caveat there, you know?
well, yeah, I mean, like Anthony Richardson would be the best quarterback in the league if he could throw the ball accurately. I mean, we can do these what ifs, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret what the Bears did. There's a reason why Brian Poles is a GM and I'm not. So I will humbly say the fact that like it wasn't that I was anti Caleb. It was like I was not out of Fields yet, and I've been proven wrong so far. But obviously, rooting for Fields to be successful with the Chiefs this season. So yeah. With that said, why don't we quit dilly-dallying and get to the draft sleepers? So, Corstian, who's your number one guy on your board? Whether you do this in order or not, who's one sleeper from the draft you really like?
Yeah. I don't have a specific order to my guys here, but these are just kind of three guys. At least I don't expect to go in the first round, but I think that can provide, solid value, whether they get drafted in the second round or beyond that. I don't think these guys are necessarily considered second round guys either. Anyways. First guy I have here is Bryce Lance, a wide receiver from North Dakota State. I mean, just quickly, his stats, the most two recent seasons was he had 51 catches, 1,079 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And then in 2024, he had 75 catches for 1,053 yards and 17 touchdowns. And so this is a guy who, I mean, granted, this is at North Dakota State, so I mean, you can look at the competition that he's going against with some grain of salt, right? But I think both those seasons like show that he has, I guess, capabilities both as, I guess, like a short route runner, and then like a medium, like an intermediate to a longer deep route runner. I mean, just comparing the fact that one season he averaged 14 yards per catch at 1,000 yards, and then the following season he had 21 yards per catch, still at that 1,000-yard season. So whether it be, you're needing to throw the ball, like pepper him with kind of more check down targets and maybe red zone targets, he can do that. But also if you have a guy who can do that in your offense, you can use him to stretch the field more. And then another knock on him though is just the fact that I think he's going to be 25 when the NFL season starts. And so obviously they're like drafting a wide receiver at age 25 isn't always the most compelling idea, obviously for like a high rated draft pick. But I look at like Devon Vele. He is older than him, but he was drafted in the 7th round. And I think the Broncos rookie year, he showed some promise. He gets traded to the Saints for a 4th round pick. Obviously he was hurt last season, so he didn't get a lot of play time, but obviously the Saints saw the 4th round value in him, traded him for that. So I think this is a guy who maybe goes in like the 5th round, maybe the 6th round, and can be kind of a solid rotational, like wide receiver 4 or 5 that can come in if your guys ahead of him get injured and can put up solid numbers. Yeah.
I think he can be a primary receiver as with like any prospect, like ranked in the top 10 of wide receivers. And I think you could put him in that conversation. I see the release packages. I see the patience and control he has with them. I do think he'll have a lot of success like on dig routes and running route trees. He's been compared, like if I had to compare him, I wouldn't go as far as AJ Green and George Pickens, but I would say he's like a bargain version of those players right now, who has the potential to maybe reach their tier. We don't know. Like he could be surprised. I think the one thing that plagues him is the Marvin Harrison, the junior discussion, where you're talking about like tracking the ball and like clap attacking. Again, it's not a death nail for receivers if they clap attack, but unless you're Terry McLaurin, like it's gonna hinder you for like a really long time. Like it's why Dobbs couldn't reach a ceiling that many touted him to be in Green Bay. It's why Marvin Harrison was outproduced by Trey McBride and a fellow wide receiver, Michael Wilson, like in the same season because of the hands. But it's not a death nail for these wide receivers, but it's something that's going to take a lot of progress to work on coming into the league. So catch point, clap attacks, that will probably be the one emphasis point for him, but he definitely has value in 3 wide receiver sets. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and it's like his physical profile. It just like it's one that feels like it's bound to dominate against college defenses, especially if you're playing at North Dakota State, right? Like
Yeah, 6'3", 200 plus
6'3",
pounds, absolutely.
I think he ran like a 4.3 something 40. I think I have it. I don't know. He had a fast 40, and so like he's a specimen, and this is the type of guy that gets drafted 4th or 5th round, as kind of a cool, unique, big athlete that, hey, maybe we can, get him to play well against elite cornerbacks of the league. Because obviously he hasn't really had as much experience doing that at North Dakota State, just as the nature of the school that he goes and, his college competition there. But so that'll be kind of just the real test, is like, can he acclimate to, corners that are able to press him better, that are going to be able to stay like that. We'll almost be able to match him in size on like a weekly basis, pretty much, is where we'll see, can he make that jump. But that's but beyond that, like, he had a lot of exciting things about him at college, and he can become, like you said, he has really high potential, like you said, with like AJ Green, as a true ceiling. But we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, great start. My guy is Robert Henry. I don't have him in the top 3, top 5 of backs, but I do think he's a really good player from this draft. He's 5'9", 196. Graduated from, he's from University of Texas San Antonio. I don't know if he's graduated officially or not. I view him like a Aaron Jones kind of comp. Like, if you think about Devon A-Chain, James Cook, Aaron Jones, like where the league is heading with kind of like these satellite backs in open space, I think Robert Henry could definitely fill that profile. I really like him because I like how he can be used in outside and inside zone, and he has that breakaway speed as well. You see that across the tape, but he can run inside. So in like a zone scheme, like a Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel kind of scheme, he could be really, really good. And for him, the scheme fit's going to be super important. But if I were the Vikings, this is a guy I would perfectly target. If you're just trying to get a younger version of Aaron Jones, this is a perfect guy. You don't have to spend a first-round pick on him. So, yeah, I love Robert Henry. I'm not saying he's going to be on the level of like Jeremiah Love. Absolutely not. But I do think he could have like a 1,000-yard season where you're like, who is this guy? And all the cards fall on the table for him. Where he has a good offensive line, good scheme, great quarterback, and he's just maximizing his team because he's good at those skills.
Yeah. And then I look at like NFL.com, and they have him like they predict him to be a round 7 prospect. And I think, that fits like what you're saying in terms of he's definitely not a guy you need to spend that first round pick, and especially like with the Vikings. I mean, you still do have Aaron Jones, you still have Jordan Mason on your team, and so this is a guy that you can take a late round shot on, and if he pans out, power to you. But if he doesn't work out as well, because obviously, like, I mean, looking at his profile here too, it's like he doesn't have the craziest of burst ability, I guess, from like it's just like a pure speed standpoint. But again, like he can get better at those things, especially sitting behind and not necessarily being like relied upon to be the guy immediately, which I think is where it works well being a late round pick like him.
I disagree at the speed part. I think it's more like he needs to build up to speed. I do think the thing you gotta pay attention to is not that, but acceleration. Acceleration and elusiveness out of backs and being able to break arm tackles is more important than pure speed. So you can maximize it, but there's a lot that needs to go right for that speed to be maximized, right? Not everybody can be Devon A-Chain. So I think he's better at like separating than necessarily like pure like long speed. And for me, looking at this closely, that's what I care about more in the modern game than how fast can you run in a straight line, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something that's like he just has to be, I guess, really good as just a pure downhill runner. Just because I mean, like some of that elusiveness with the speed. I mean, like because I look at like Aaron Jones and like I think Aaron Jones actually had a slower 40 time as well, but obviously like his game speed I think has gotten better like since he was, and so it's a guy that definitely needs to get better fast, and then like and then he's like the other concern is that just the fact that he is a 24-year-old running back, and so your time frame for being able to get to that level, I think even if he can get good by the time he's 30, that willingness of teams to wait that long sometimes is kind of going to be his biggest enemy, I think. But other than that, I think that it's cool. It's a cool find you got there.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. For my next guy, unless you got any last words to add about your boy.
No, go ahead.
Okay. This is going to be tight end Sam Roos from Stanford. I don't know. I was looking at I was trying to look at the other tight ends. I looked at Oscar Delp, but because I was like, oh, this kind of seems like a cool guy. But then honestly, I looked at what he did in college, and he seems like he kind of is not going to be that great. So I was like, oh, I guess I can't really do too much about him. But Sam looks pretty cool. And I mean, just from what I was looking, I don't know how much he's been on your board. I forget who the tight end you were excited about for it was.
Eli Stowers.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, with Sam though, with Sam, what I've been seeing is his greatest strength is being a run blocking tight end, but that he isn't limited to simply just being a run blocker. I think of Chris Manhertz, is a guy who he's in the NFL, but he is pretty ineffective as a receiver. But the only reason why teams keep him around is the fact that he can run block fairly decently and can kind of catch the ball here, whereas Sam Roos, that's his strength, but also he does have route running ability where he can get plays he excels with play action rollouts almost for the quarterback, where he can get up the field without having necessarily breakaway speed, and so he's just a really big physical player that I think could be good for just a run heavy team or just a team that likes the power offense. So I think the Bills, I think the Ravens, I think the 49ers are all teams that would like the style of play Sam Roos has, where they're all run heavy offenses and are dependent on their tight ends being able to block. I mean, you see Dalton Kincaid get not a lot of play time simply because he's a poor run blocker. And then with Dawson Knox, I mean, technically becoming an older tight end, it's you can get a younger version of Knox in some semblance, but he just kind of prototypes as a traditional tight end. And obviously that's not as flashy with how receiver heavy tight ends have been over the past couple seasons as well. So I don't know, he's just kind of a guy that I thought was cool.
But look at where the league is heading. Look at what the Rams have been doing with the 3 tight end set.
Right.
I think that's actually something to pay attention to, whereas more and more teams might be drafting tight ends earlier than we expect. And his name can come off a lot. He could be a day 2 pick. And I probably wouldn't be surprised by it because he's one of the best blockers in the draft. I definitely agree. His blocking is really, really good. I shouldn't be surprised that you picked this guy because he's a lot like Tyler Warren and Tucker Kraft. He is. I think Sam Roos might be on their level and have some higher upside, but the thing he needs to work on is kind of what's an unfair ask of tight ends. It's to earn separation on cornerbacks and safeties when you're actually running man-to-man routes. If you're lined up in 11 personnel offense as the big slot, and you're matched up with Dervin James or like Kyler Gordon. I don't know, like a starting average like DB or like a really good DB. Can you separate with suddenness deep down the field on intermediate routes without the coach scheming it up for you? I don't think he can, and I don't think he has the suddenness to snap back to the ball and whatnot. But again, for all the responsibilities of a tight end, if you don't have that, it's not a death nail. Like a lot of defenses are playing zones, like, and there's so many offensive minds as coaches now that he does have value starting out as a tight end too, like being the primary read on a leak route and play action. Like he does have value in the league and would be a great addition for any team because you're not just upgrading your tight end spot, you're upgrading your running game and your scheme by having a player like this. So this is a good find.
Yeah. Cool.
Alrighty. I'm gonna pick. I always like the undersized guys. I like the underdogs. And this is a guy I feel like you cannot quit on. Like he's just for some reason he's just relegated to round 2. Like he's gonna be picked in day 2, round 2. D'Angelo Pons. And the knock on him is he's 5'8", 182 pounds. I feel like I'm talking about me when I'm hearing that. But he does not play like that when you watch him and his highlights. Like he will commit to the run, he will commit to read actions, and he will be physical. And that's exactly what you want out of a football player. And on top of that, he could play on the outside too. Like I don't want him to go there, but like if he goes to Detroit, I would not be surprised. Like, like this is a very Detroit player where he's just like gritty. He's had a lot of dropped interceptions. So that's the one thing on him. And again, the size. But I do think he's a starting cornerback in this league at a discounted price. And there's a lot of good corners in this draft. But he's a sleeper where I'm like, I just want a guy like that on my team because I know once he puts in 100% effort, the entire team is going to rally around him. So.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, it's like the size really is the key knock, I guess, that you could talk about it. But like you said, like, I mean, there are spots for teams to have a player like of the size that like a smaller player really, who can still like make impacts. Because, I mean, I look and see, and it's like, sure, he's small, but like he still played up to the level of competition that he needed to, I guess, at the college level. I mean, he's part of a good team's defense for a reason, right? Like he wasn't a guy that was specifically schemed in a way who like, oh, we need to cover for his mistakes. Like it was a high enough caliber of a team that it's like he is a key part of what they do. And so, you know, like I like
against
how
Washington, he had 2 interceptions and one on Denzel Boston, like where he's like just tipping the ball and falling backward, and then also a pick 6 where he's coming on a slap blitz and the quarterback does not even see him because of his size and like something happened with the ball too. But like he's a guy you can sneak and like run some like slap blitzes where and like move him all around. He's like kind of like a chess piece player. Like he's a perfect Dennis Allen guy in my opinion for what he does. And he competes on special teams too. He's had some punt blocks as well. So like he's just the kind of guy that's gonna be involved in everything. And you gotta like circle. It's like don't let this guy impact the game. But like he's not like I don't think he's gonna be a superstar in the NFL, but he's gonna be like a guy who's like you're gonna get 100% of his effort every snap. You always a guy like that defense.
Yeah, because I mean, like, yeah, potentially like that round 2 draft projection might be like slightly high, but I mean, I think he gets taken even if he still like doesn't get taken round 2, he's like a round 3, maybe round 4 at the latest. That guy just be like you said, like because of what we've seen him do at the collegiate level, being a guy who's able, like the pick sixes, the 2 picks in the 1 game, all that. And then like even if he, like you said, he doesn't become like a bona fide superstar cornerback, I think it's a guy that can clearly get put into like clear passing down like situations where he's like anytime it's like a 3rd and long, it's like he's like a guaranteed to be kind of on the field, just because that he won't be a liability necessarily like in a power run play when it's like 3rd and 10 or something. And so like not even like having like him as an every down player, but a guy who you can rotate in pretty consistently and be like, I guess, the best dime cornerback in the entirety of the league, which we don't really see too often in schemes nowadays. But like, that's still something to be said about how a team might want to run their defense.
Yeah, and he has a lot of versatility in that regard. Like, he can play the deep corner, like he can play the slot. You can put him in the run game, like, and he could rally and tackle. When you have all those skill sets, especially in the quick game, the way it's played, and the amount of screens that offenses are running, that I just think you have to put him as like your top 11 and think about that. So if you're in a position where you don't need an outside cornerback or like a player in need, this is a guy to kind of elevate your team. Alrighty.
Yeah. Okay. That was my last player here. I'll have Josh Cameron from Baylor.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And then I guess his 2 most productive seasons were also 2025 and 2024. In 25, he had 69 catches for 872 yards, 9 touchdowns, and then in 24 he had 52 catches for 754 and 10 touchdowns. So 2 pretty strong seasons that he had. And I think the when you look at the highlights at the very least, you see that he is a physical player, and that he's often schemed to catch the ball over the middle. So it's like, because I feel like at the college level you see a lot of that with like tight ends or like just the unbelievable superstars, I guess, of college football, right? Well, it feels like Baylor really focused on getting him the ball over the middle because he can get the ball, and then he's typically trying to fight through that first contact that he gets from the defensive back, and is fighting for more yards there. Because like he doesn't have a lot of, again, straight line speed. Like he's not gonna necessarily burn you deep, and so like he does struggle with like avoiding. I guess like evading coverage or whatever, which I think is kind of the big concern here. Where I think. Historically, we see, like, there's a few outliers, but historically, we see the guys who struggle with separation but make the good, tough catches in traffic at the college level struggle quite a bit at the pro level. And so I feel like that might be the fear with him. But, route running is something that he can inherently work on, just even if he is slower of a player. Because, I feel like more and more we're seeing, like, the best receivers in the league running, like, a 4.5 40. Still getting open all the time. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think Puka Nacua isn't super fast. I'm forgetting like 2 or I think another 2 names off. I forget who, but it's been kind of a growing trend. I guess Cooper Kupp was kind of in that realm of he ran a slower 40 time as well. But there's that, and then also I think a huge aspect to his game is his ability as a return man. Baylor had him in a lot of punt returns. And I think even if a team doesn't see him as a ready-to-play wide receiver, like startable wide receiver right now, they can go and see his special teams tape and see that he can at least compete for a job as your like team's punt or kick returner, especially with how physical he's able to play and the new kickoff rules from last little bit. But and so it's like you can have him there as he develops as a route runner, and so I think that kind of adds extra value to like what he brings to the table compared to maybe some of these other bigger wide receivers or more physical built wide receivers who you don't really see in that role on special teams.
Yeah, I like Cameron. He's like a really late dart throw for me if like you miss out on some of the wide receiver in rounds 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
He has the best release like packages you'll see like starting off on the line of scrimmage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's going to enamor you a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
the separation against man-to-man coverage isn't there. Similar to like a Sam Roosh discussion, it's just not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
For wide receiver, that's probably a little bit more glaring, but it's teachable. It's like technique driven. If he's in the right room, he can learn that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's tried to model his game after Larry Fitzgerald, but I think he's more like between like Mohamed Sanu and Anquan Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to sound like mid, but like if you remember Anquan Bolden, he was a perennial 1,000-yard receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's certainly in Josh Cameron's like possibilities that he could be a 1,000 to 10 touchdowns kind of guy, like season after season. Like there's going to be some things he needs to work on, but because of the skills you talked about with him as a runner and the receiver on the inside, I think he would be a great wide receiver 3 in any offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So like I envision him like year one, like I'm a potential like year one where he does little to nothing almost. Maybe he's kind of like specifically just a special teams guy with a couple catches here and there. But then I think as time goes on, he can develop into like a solid receiver 3. You know, like a couple highlights for the team that it'll be to watch him as.
Yeah. All right. I got my last guy, and let me know if you got more. But my last guy on the list I had in mind was Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be eating my words because a couple years ago I picked Cedric Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't exactly panned out the way I'd hoped. But again, just these guys. I think Brazzell's better. I think Brazzell's better than Bayless. He's better than Tillman. He's better than Hyatt. I think he's the best receiver to come out of the Tennessee program. And I think I might have said this in our mock draft last week. I don't remember. But some of the ways he wins, like it reminds you of like a George Pickens kind of guy. I don't think he's all the way there yet. But you're talking about a guy that's like 6'4", 198, like big, skinny wide receiver that can win down the field. Yeah, I love watching him play. Like he's tall, he's got deep elite speed, deep threat, and really good body control. If that doesn't scream like George Pickens potential, what doesn't?
Yeah. I mean that's what's exciting, right? Like, I mean, it kind of reminds me in a different way of like, you know, like the Bryce Lance build again of just the size and some of the like things what we've seen on tape are really spectacular, and it is like being able to be the big guy, I guess, compared to everybody at like, because I mean, like naturally, I feel like a guy 6'5", 200 pounds should hopefully dominate, you know, whatever college competition you're going against. And so, again, it's another similar situation. I mean, yeah, similar situation of how does it compare to on a weekly basis now of going against the best? Whereas, I mean, I'm trying like, what I mean, like we saw like Jamar Chase or like Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb in college, where it was like they were doing the crazy stuff, but they didn't necessarily have. I mean, they were obviously had some of the size advantage, but it wasn't like a. These guys are so mind-blowingly freakish of athletes playing against like lesser competition. I mean, not to say that Tennessee's facing that much worse competition, but you know, so.
I think the thing that where he has the nuances is he knows how to stack up defenders. He knows how to run his routes, like the stem of the routes and like the setups. He's really good at that. I think the thing that hurts him right now is that he's only exclusively played on the right side of the formation. He's not really been – you can't, like, move him around yet. I think he's capable of doing that, but you need to get him with a guy like Kellen Moore that can do that, where, like, you're challenging him to play multiple spots. So, yeah, I think the thing with him that he probably needs to work on is, like, when he is releasing off the line of scrimmage. He has all the techniques down properly, but he doesn't move with, like, patience or suddenness. It's the same problem we have with Jordan Tyson. But if you're thinking about Jordan Tyson versus Chris Brazzell, for, like, similar kind of issues where they're being mocked, which player would you rather have? I'd rather wait around, get Brazzell, and deal with those same issues for all the things he could do well. But at the same time, Jordan Tyson could be one of the best wide receivers.
Yeah.
He had the right situations around him, like coming out of the shot. It's kind of like that boomer bust, where I think Brazzell's floor is that much higher than some of the guys being ranked ahead of him that I think people realize.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And I don't have any other guys out of that. Cameron is my last sleeper or my deep draft guy or whatever too. So.
Alrighty, that will do it for us. Corstian, before we let you go, go ahead. What do you got?
I was surprised though that you weren't going to bring any hype to Taylon Green. I just know you like that style of quarterback sometimes, and so I was like, I wonder if you'll bring him up. But
I was thinking about it, but to be honest, there's not really any quarterbacks that excite me besides Fernando Mendoza from this class.
Well, yeah.
And I was really surprised because going into it, I was really high on Nussmeier. I was really high on Klubnik going into this year. And, like, it just seemed like as the season progressed, like, at Al or two, like, all these guys' stock, like, tanked at the same time. I was just shocked. So, yeah, I was certainly not expecting the quarterback class to be as crazy, but yeah, next coming to Malik Willis, no thank you right now. Maybe 5 years from now, but not right now.
Yeah. And honestly, I was like listening. It was like I think like a TikTok video, both talking about like him as a quarterback and like comparing, like talking about the physical upside, whatever about him, right? But then also talking about how like realistically at the NFL level, which is kind of like, this is kind of a side tangent almost, but it's like if a quarterback you think you think a quarterback's going to be good, you take him in the first round, because beyond that, it's like I mean the statistical hit rates of quarterbacks even in the second round are pretty awful. Where it's like the last, like I think Derek Carr might be the last like second round quarterback drafted to like have a winning record or something crazy like that, and then like a quarterback prior to him was the last second round quarterback to even win a playoff game. And so I was like, it's kind of interesting where it's like if you don't take a quarterback in the first, you probably shouldn't take a quarterback at all. But not this.
Well, ask the Jets and the Cardinals. Like they apparently are fighting for Ty Simpson. That will be, and I do think Ty Simpson is a good player. I just think the tier between him and Mendoza is just so large that people are trying to make it to me. So, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it should be a good draft. I do think there's a lot more depth than people are expecting, and a lot of defenders are good. Like, I haven't watched CJ Allen at all, but like a lot of people have been raving about him lately as one of the best inside linebackers in this draft. You talked about the cornerbacks last week, and I guess I'm really excited to see what do the Chiefs do at 9. I'm really curious to see what they do now that the Bengals are kind of like committed to Dexter Lawrence. It's kind of like all hands on deck, and then obviously really hoping the Bears. If I were the Bears, if I can get Messidor or Downs. If either player slips down to me, I'd probably take one of them without a second thought.
Well, yeah.
So, like Messidor especially, I would love because I
Mhm.
think he would like answer any questions. But yeah. Are there any day 2 or day 3 guys you're hoping the Broncos could get?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it'll just be kind of how the board falls, I guess, because it's like still late day 2 and 3 stuff as well, and so it's like
You're keeping the cards close to the chest as you work for the organization. I think you're trying to keep your hopes up over here.
yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this is probably the draft like over the past like 2 or 3 years that I probably like know the least amount in terms of like late round depth, and so there's like I mean I know like the key stars of the draft, but like I mean what like was it like 2 years ago that I was raving about like Peyton Wilson or whatever, and he went like 5th round to the Steelers, and he's been a quality starter there, but I don't know who the 5th round star linebacker is going to be this year or whatever, but
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't study linebackers that much. I've probably just paid attention to the media positions like
Mhm.
DN, safety,
Mhm.
wide receiver, running back, quarterback,
Mhm.
tight ends. I've just fully committed to the bit that I'll find the next tight end. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm doing it. But
Yeah.
offensive line a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Leave the tight ends to me.
Stowers, if you pick him, that will help your dynasty team for
Yeah.
sure. Kenyon Sadiq, again, right situation. If he goes to the 49ers, excellent situation.
Mhm.
Eagles, I would have said maybe, but I don't know because they keep changing offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But that will do it for us.
Mhm.
Enjoy the draft that's happening up in 2 days. I'm just gonna go back to watching the NBA playoffs because the Sixers are somehow ahead of the Celtics. So
Mm.
that should be fun. No Miami Heat, unfortunately. Kind of rough situation with Bam getting tripped up by LaMelo there. But
Yeah.
Corstian, do you have anything you want to say before the draft happens and people
Um,
go ballistic over who they picked or who they didn't pick or who they passed up?
I don't know. I don't really got anything, but just peace out. So peace. If it goes. I don't. It's a shame.
No.
Last time the peace out happened, something bad. Like the Bears didn't win. So like, is this bad luck for the Bears draft?
Oh my. Okay.
Okay,
See
we
you
gotta
guys
do it again.
later.
Let's see if we can get it again.